The brainstem consists of the medulla oblongata, the pons virilii, and the midbrain. It connects the brain to the spinal cord. It is a very delicate area of the brain because damage to even small areas could result in death. Figure 11-3 shows the parts of the brain and areas of brain function. The medulla oblongata contains all the ascending and descending tracts that connect between the spinal cord and various parts of the brain. THSA tracts make up the white matter of the medulla. Some motor tracts cross as they pass through the medulla. The crossing of the tracts is called decussation of pyramids and explains why motor areas on one side of the cortex of the cerebrum control skeletal muscle movements on the opposite side of the body. The medulla also contains an area of dispersed gray matter containing some white fibers. This area is called the reticular formation, which functions in maintaining consciousness and arousal. Within the medulla are three vital reflection X centers of this reticular system: the vasomotor center, which regulates the diameter of blood vessels; the cardiac center, which regulates the force of contraction and heartbeat; and the medullary rhythmicity area, which adjusts your basic rhythm of breathing. The pons virilii is a bridge. Pons is Latin for bridge that connects the spinal cord with the brain and parts of the brain with each other. Longitudinal fibers connect with the spinal cord or medulla with the upper parts of the brain, and transverse fibers connect with the cerebellum. Its pneumotaxic and apneustic area help control breathing. The midbrain, also called the mesencephalon cephalon, contains the ventrocerebral peduncles cerebral peduncles that convey impulses from the cerebral cortex to the pons and spinal cord. It also contains the dorsal tectum, which is a reflection X center that controls the movement of the eyeballs and head in response to visual stimuli. It also controls the movement of the head and trunk in response to auditory stimuli, such as loud noises. The diencephalon is superior to the midbrain and between the two cerebral hemispheres. It also surrounds the third ventricle. It is divided into two main areas, the thalamus and the hypothalamus. It also contains the optic tracts and optic chiasma where optic nerves cross each other, the infundibulum, which attaches to the pituitary gland, the mammillary bodies, which are involved in memory and emotional responses to odor, and the pineal gland, which is part of the epithalamus. The pineal gland is a pine cone-shaped endocrine gland that secretes melatonin, which affects our moods and behavior. The thalamus is the superior part of the diencephalon and the principal relay station for sensory impulses that reach the cerebral cortex coming from the spinal cord, brain stem, and parts of the cerebrum. It also plays an important role as an interpretation center for conscious recognition of pain and temperature and for some awareness of crude pressure and touch. The epithalamus is a small area superior and posterior to the thalamus. It contains some small nuclei that are concerned with emotional and visceral responses to odor. It contains the pineal gland. The hypothalamus is the inferior part of the diencephalon and, despite its small size, controls many bodily functions related to homeostasis. It controls and integrates the autonomic nervous system. It receives sensory impulses from the internal organs. It is the intermediary between the nervous system and the endocrine system because it sends signals and controls the pituitary gland. It is the center for mind-over-body phenomena. When we hear of unexplainable cures in people diagnosed with terminal illness but who refused to accept the diagnosis and recovered, the hypothalamus may have been involved in this mind-controlling the body phenomenon. It is the hypothalamus that controls our feelings of rage and aggression. It controls our normal body temperature. It contains our thirst center, informing us of when and how much water we need to sustain our bodies. It maintains our waking state and sleep patterns, allowing us to adjust to different work shifts or jet lag travel problems within a day or so. It also regulates our food intake. The cerebrum makes up the bulk of the brain. Its surface is composed of gray matter and is referred to as the cerebral cortex. Beneath the cortex lies the cerebral white matter. A prominent fissure, the longitudinal fissure, separates the cerebrum into right and left halves or cerebral hemispheres. On the surface of each hemisphere are numerous folds called gyri with intervening groups called sulci. The folds increase the surface area of the cortex, which has motor areas for controlling muscular movements, sensory areas for interpreting sensory impulses, and association areas concerned with emotional and intellectual processes. A deep bridge of nerve fiber known as the corpus callosum connects the two cerebral hemispheres. The cerebrum makes up the bulk of the brain. Its surface is composed of gray matter and is referred to as the cerebral cortex. Beneath the cortex lies the cerebral white matter. A prominent fissure, the longitudinal fissure, separates the cerebrum into right and left halves or cerebral hemispheres. On the surface of each hemisphere are numerous folds called gyri with intervening groups called sulci. The folds increase the surface area of the cortex, which has motor areas for controlling muscular movements, sensory areas for interpreting sensory impulses, and association areas concerned with emotional and intellectual processes. A deep bridge of nerve fiber known as the corpus callosum connects the two cerebral hemispheres.